Hey, my name's Chase Brown. As you can tell, I'm in the Army. I'm an active duty recruiter right now, and I'm actually driving a government car. I've got a drug problem, and I've had a drug problem for off and on since I was probably 15 years old. I'm 28 now. This is a problem for me because I'm in the Army. It's unacceptable. We have tools to fix that, and I'm just so worried about losing my career. My problem has come to a point where I don't think that I can handle it anymore. I'm what I would call myself a functioning addict. Nobody knows I'm on drugs. Nobody knows I've had this problem. Nobody has any suspicion. Nobody can tell that I know of. I go to work on time. I do my work correctly. I've never been in trouble for it, and I don't think anybody really knows. So what I'm about to do is report myself to the Army Substance Abuse Program through my first sergeant. So I'm on my way to meet my first sergeant right now. I told him I needed to talk to him, but he doesn't know what for yet. But I think he's expecting something pretty bad. Like if somebody got a DUI or something, but it's not the case. My substance abuse problem started when I was really young. All my whole friends and family, everybody did the same thing, and mine just got out of control. I joined the Army and it stopped for a few years. I joined when I was 18 and I went to Korea, and obviously I couldn't get any drugs there, so I had to stop. I didn't do anything in basic training, nothing through Korea. I went to Fort Carson, Colorado after I'd been in Korea for 2 years, and I did nothing there. And from Fort Carson, I was deployed to Iraq, and while I was in Iraq, I did nothing. And then when I got back to California, or when I got back to Fort Carson, Colorado, they moved my station to California. I was in Barstow, California, at Fort Irwin. While I was in Fort Irwin, which is after I got back from Iraq, I developed a drinking problem. I guess you could say my problem probably started in Colorado Springs after I got back from Iraq. And I was drinking heavily. And it wasn't social drinking. I mean, I did social drink. I would go out with my friends when they were going out, but on the nights that they weren't, like Monday night or Tuesday night, I'd buy a bottle of liquor and sit in my house and drink it by myself. At that time I was married and I had a child, but my wife never did drink or use drugs or alcohol, and she was a good girl in that respect. So I drank alone, and it became an everyday thing. But I jumped at the chance when somebody else was going to go drink that I would go drink with them. So I moved to California, and my drinking problem continued through California. And every time I would get sick, I would go to the doctor, and the doctor would prescribe me pain pills, if I had any kind of discomfort at all. And when I had pain pills, I wouldn't drink. They made me sick together. So I would drink I would drink all the way up to the day I got a prescription, and then I would use that prescription until it ran out, and then I would start drinking again. And usually a prescription meant to last 10 days or 30 days would last me. A 10-day prescription might last me 1 or 2 days if I was lucky. A 30-day prescription might last me 3 or 4 or 5 maybe. And then I would immediately start drinking again. So after I moved from California, they sent me to recruiting school, and I became a recruiter in Southern Ohio. And in Ohio, I continued drinking. I drank every day. Still made it to work on time. Everybody knew I drank because it's socially acceptable, so you don't have to hide it. I could, go out with my friends or my family or whatever on the weekends, and we would drink, and nothing, nobody thought anything of it. Nobody thought that it was the way it was when I was alone. nobody knew that I would drink, a fifth of tequila by myself at night, or a fifth of Jack Daniels by myself at night. And then I got assigned to a doctor here who prescribed a lot of pain pills, and I think that she knew I was in the Army. I think that she prescribed so much pain pills because she trusted me. This area is terrible for prescription abuse, and usually doctors here are very careful about giving them out. So, she met me, and I only had to make appointments during the week because that's the only time she works. So during the week I have to wear this uniform, so I would go to my appointments in this uniform. And, it builds some kind of respect and trust, and nobody looks at an Army guy like, oh, he's probably going to take these 60 Vicodins and eat 20 of them as soon as he walks out the door. Nobody thinks that. So every time that I would get anything wrong, I wouldn't usually go to a doctor for small stuff. I can get over it. I think I've got a pretty high pain tolerance, and nothing really bothers me. Every time I had any excuse, I would go to the doctor and use it to get a prescription. And when I got that prescription, I would take a break from drinking and use the prescription till it was gone. And more often than not, when I went to the doctor, I got some type of codeine or hydrocodone or oxycodone or whatever. Plus, whenever my wife went to the doctor, she got something, and she would take it like it was supposed to be taken, and when the pain stopped, she'd stop taking it, and usually there was more left than she took, and I would eat the rest of the bottle when nobody was using it anymore. So, this went on for a few years between drinking and drugs, and then I got to a part of my life where it seemed like, I guess I was depressed. It seemed like everything was going wrong. I had a lot of things happen during those few years. This is about 2 years ago. The first thing that happened was my mom died, and she died after she had been in the hospital for 2 months. My mom was only 53 years old. There was nothing wrong with her. She was fine one day. And in Thanksgiving of 2010, she went to the hospital, and she was there for 2 months, and she died. I found out later that my mom had a prescription abuse problem that I didn't know about. When my mom died, her and my father are divorced, and me and my sister are only children. She wasn't remarried, she lived alone, and my sister's in dental school, and it's probably 5 hours from where my mom lives, and I lived about an hour from where my mom lives. So I became the one that was in charge of taking care of everything. I was the executor of her estate. So that meant I had to clean out her apartment and get her finances in order and organize her funeral and her hospital bills and it was really tough. And I did it all pretty much alone. And I had a lot of problems during that time, sleeping and nightmares and stuff, and that's what started my drinking anyway from Iraq. So it seems like areas of depression or hard times during your life bring that back up. And I started using prescription pills again. The prescriptions that she had left over. And my family, they're all on that stuff, so they would give me stuff when they thought that I was upset or needed something. Which, in their eyes, they were helping me, but actually it was killing me. And, so I got to a point where I didn't care about alcohol anymore. I didn't want it anymore. I wanted prescription pain pills. So because I'm close to the area where I grew up and all my friends and family are on them and everybody I know does it, and this area is terribly bad with that type of addiction problem, it was pretty easy for me to get a continuous supply of. My wife hated that. She didn't do anything. So, I did. I kept a continuous supply of it. The day my mom died, I never missed one day without a pain pill. It's been 2 years ago. During that time, after my mom died, my wife and I went through a divorce. It was very messy. She is very spiteful and vindictive and tried to do everything she could to hurt me. She never told anybody about my problem. The courts or anything. Child support or, custody agreements. She could have brought it up so many times, but she never did. And I think she did it to hurt me because she knew if she brought it up that I would get help. So, we went through the divorce, and that was a really tough time too. We got married before I joined the Army. I've been in the Army for 10 years. We had known each other since I was 15. I'm 28 now. So that was half of my life. So even though, I wanted the divorce, it was still really tough. And once all that, stuff happened, the prescription problem got worse and worse because it's hard to sleep, and that makes it easier, and that fixes every problem in your life when that's your problem. That's your remedy for everything. Hard day at work, do extra pills. Fucking hard day in your life, do some extra pills. Running out of money, do some extra pills. So, I said I was a functioning addict. Like, I've never missed a payment on anything. I pay my child support now. I don't come to work late. There's no bill collectors knocking on my door. I have my credit rating is like excellent. Because I have the finances to carry a habit like that. And in some ways that's good. My child isn't going without. But in some ways that's bad because there's no need for me to ever stop. So, it's getting to a point now where I can't take it anymore. That's all I think about. When I wake up in the morning, I have to force myself to take a shower before I get high. Because I want to get high as soon as I wake up, but I know that if I do, it's like taking a shower washes the high off of me. I know it sounds stupid, but that's really how it feels to me. Maybe it's the actual activity of the shower or whatever, but I don't get as high off of it as if I did it after my shower. So I have to force myself to take a shower before I get high. Otherwise, I'll get high and sit around for 6 hours, not wanting to ruin my buzz before I go anywhere. So then after that, I go to work, and I work with the public. That's my job. I'm a recruiter. I have to find people who want to join and put them in the Army. And these guys I'm turning away because they have prescription pill problems, and I feel like telling them, that I can't say anything. I'm a fucking hypocrite. I'm in the Army with a prescription problem, and I can't help them. It's not my rule. So I go to work and work with the public all day, and I'm so surprised that nobody knows, but I guess that it's because I've been on the pills so long that I don't get high enough to where you can tell I'm high. I'm fucking high right now. There are people in my life, I've worked at the same place for 5 years. There are people in my life that have known me for 5 years that have never, ever seen me sober. And they have no idea. So I go to work, and I work till probably 2 or 3, and I get high again, and then I do whatever I need to, and I come back home, and 7 or 8 I get high again. So my drug of choice right now is Suboxone. I know that some people are on, up to 4 pills a day, which sounds like a ridiculously large amount to me. I'm doing a pill and a half a day, which equates to about 12 milligrams. But also, I don't do it the way that it's recommended. You're supposed to put it under your tongue and let it dissolve, and I crush up half a pill at a time and make a line out of it and snort it. Insulfated, whatever you want to say. So, then I wake up the next day and do it all over again. And these pills, they're not cheap. They go from between $25 to $35 a piece, depending on the person you buy it from or whatever. And I do 1.5 a day. So I'm doing, about $37 worth of drugs a day if I get them for $25 a piece. Or I'm doing up to $50 in drugs a day if I have to pay $35 a piece for it. And I do it every day. Every single day. And I've heard of these people with cocaine problems and stuff who are spending, $100 or $300 a day on coke, and it sounds like a lot, but that might be a lot to them, and that's a huge amount to me, but $55 a day worth of drugs to me is enough to kill me. I'm spending close to $1,000 a month on these, and that's a lot. And I make decent money because I'm a staff sergeant. I've been in for 10 years, so I do well for myself, but I don't do well enough to carry that habit indefinitely. And I can't stand the thought of waking up for that fucking drug, for that powder. That's not worth living life for. And I want to go tell and get help, but I'm scared that I'm going to lose my benefits, my GI Bill that I've worked for. I've got 10 years of honorable service. I'm a combat veteran. Excuse me. But I'm afraid that if I don't go get help now, then I'll never get it because I'm about to get out of the Army. And if I get out of the Army and I don't get help, then I never will, because I don't have any other way to pay for it. So I need to get my life straightened out. I want to know what it's like to wake up and fucking be normal. to feel in the morning how you're going to feel all day. Not to have to rely on some kind of substance just to get you fucking normal. Because I say I'm high, but I'm not high. I did drugs. But I'm just fucking normal. This is the first time I've cried in probably 5 years. Through my divorce, through my mom's death, through fucking seeing my friends die in Iraq. It's like the pill just takes your fucking feelings away. You're not a person, you're a zombie. But anyway, I'm on my way to my first sergeant right now to tell him, to see if I can get help. Usually guys that have this kind of problem have been arrested or been caught somehow, but I haven't. And the Army's preaching right now about recovery, and they know that people have addiction problems. The biggest one for the Army, I think, is alcohol. But prescription problems are pretty high behind it. I'm just hoping that I can make it through this and get help for my problem with the slightest amount of repercussions possible. Because I could care less if they take my rank. And I'm getting out anyway, so it's not like them kicking me out is going to hurt me. But I don't want to lose my $50,000 GI Bill. I don't want to lose medical coverage for the deployment that I went through, because there's all kinds of shit that can pop up, you know. I worked with depleted uranium, and if I get cancer later in life, that might not be covered because I fucking have a drug problem right now. So really, I guess it's just I'm scared of the unknown. But I want to make this like a web log or a video journal so that maybe other soldiers or people who have the same problem as me can see how the Army handles it when you take it to them yourself before you get in trouble or arrested or, you know, caught on a urinalysis test. I've never failed a urinalysis either. I don't think the Army tests for Suboxone because I take urinalysis, I just never fail. I'm actually our assistant urinalysis administrator, so I know when they're coming. I don't cheat because I don't have to. You know, I took a lot of drug tests on Suboxone before I was the assistant urinalysis administrator, so I know that it doesn't show up because I would have been caught years ago. So anyway, I'm about to go talk to my first sergeant right now. Once we're going to find out, I guess, what the treatment regimen will be, or if I'm in trouble, or, you know, what, because literally I'm trying to do the right thing. I've seen the problem, I've identified the problem, and I'm trying to fix the problem. I have tried to come off Suboxone by myself so many times that then I know it's just not possible. Withdrawals are something like 50 days long, and they are miserable. I'm talking body cramps and stomach cramps, and you throw up bile, and you know, you've got diarrhea the whole time, and you can't eat, you can't sleep. But you know that if you take that little bit of powder, that it'll fucking fix it. In like 5 minutes, you'll be back to new. Worst illness you ever had to normal again. So it makes it really, really difficult not to just go get yourself better, even though not taking the powder would make you better eventually. Taking the powder makes you better instantly. So I tried to fix this myself so many times before I decided that I couldn't do it. You know, it's been years. And I've hated it the whole time. And I know now that this is stronger than I am. I think of myself as a pretty strong person too. You know, I might not be a fucking He-Man or anything, but I handle things well. I'm responsible. You know, I have a high pain tolerance, and I can keep myself under control when I'm under pressure. I guess that's probably what helped me hide this problem for so long. But anyway, I'm going to go talk to my first sergeant, and I'll make another video after I do, tell you how it went. Maybe somebody else who's either on Suboxone or has some kind of substance abuse problem in the Army can use this as a guide for, you know, getting yourself help before something happens and they know you need it. Alright, well, I'll talk to you when I have something more to say.